Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please hit the subscribe this video. Today, we're going to walk through this emotional journey, piece by piece, layer by layer, as Ripa opens up about the private heartache she's been carrying behind the cameras, the smiles, the jokes, and the lights. And I promise you, there is a moment coming up that will shock you. A moment that will make you pause, breathe in, and feel something deep in your chest. And it all centers around her son, and what she never thought she would witness. So settle in. This story is filled with twists, heartbreak, and ultimately, hope. Let's begin. Ripa has always appeared to be the woman who has it all. A thriving career. A long-lasting marriage. Children who grew up in the spotlight yet somehow managed to stay grounded. But you and I know better. Life doesn't give any of us a free pass. Not even celebrities. In fact, sometimes the more perfect a person looks from the outside, the heavier the burden they're carrying on the inside. And for Kelly, that burden started with a phone call, one she didn't expect, and one she still describes as a punch to the heart. The call involved her son, Michael. Her firstborn. The child who introduced her to motherhood. The one she watched grow from a little boy with boundless curiosity into a young man she believed was ready to take on the world without hesitation. But life, as many of you watching know all too well, doesn't always unfold the way we envision it. And for Kelly, learning what her son was silently going through cracked open a part of her heart she didn't realize could still be broken. She revealed, with trembling honesty, that her son had been struggling. Not just the kind of struggling all young adults go through. Not the usual bumps, mistakes, and learning curves. This was something deeper. Something heavier. Something he had kept hidden from her, because he didn't want her to worry. And right there, Kelly said she felt something inside her collapse, not out of disappointment, but out of fear and guilt. Because in that moment, she wondered, how could she, the mother, the protector, the nurturer, how could she not have known? That question haunted her. It pressed on her chest like a weight, she said. And she began to look back at moments, fleeting moments, where she sensed something wasn't quite right. Moments when Michael paused a bit too long before answering. Moments where his smile didn't reach his eyes. Moments where she felt distance she couldn't explain. But like many parents, she brushed it off. He's busy, she told herself. He's growing up. He's navigating the real world. And yet, there was something much bigger happening. But before we get into what that something was, before we unravel the heartbreaking truth Kelly uncovered, I want to take you into a memory she shared, a memory that shook her to her core. She remembers sitting on her back porch, the sun dipping low, casting warm light across the yard. She had just spoken to Michael earlier that day, briefly, and something felt off. Something in his voice. Something in the silence between his words. But instead of pushing, she let him go. Her mind told her everything was fine. Her heart whispered, go check on him. But she didn't. Not that day. And that's a moment she said she will never forget, and never forgive herself for. It wasn't until much later that she learned the truth, that her son had been struggling emotionally, behind closed doors, putting on a brave face even with the people he trusted most. And this revelation, was the moment Kelly said she felt like the world around her blurred, like every sound dulled, like her chest tightened until she could barely breathe. But this isn't just a story of sadness. It's also a story of awakening. Of humility. Of a mother discovering something profound about her own children, and even more, about herself. Now, before I tell you what exactly her son was battling, and what happened next, I want to tell you something Kelly herself admitted. Something that surprised even her most dedicated fans. She said, "For the first time in my life, I realized I don't always listen the way I think I do." That sentence changed everything. Because as many of us know, you can hear someone without really listening. You can love someone without ever noticing they're hurting. Especially when that someone is a child you've always seen as strong, confident, capable.